Like, so I feel like it's gonna be some kind of twist like that, where it's gonna twist back to Megan.
Okay, I like it.
Maybe.
I like it. I think I just need to protect myself and believe it's going to be Isabella so I don't be shocked. I'm Nicole.
Hi, I'm Alisha.
And this is Black by Reality.
For Black by Baddies.
And those who love us. We are here to continue our Cruel Summer review. And it's episode 7. We finally got to New Year's Eve.
We did. Which is the day that Luke supposedly dies.
Exactly. We've been hearing about it a lot in interrogations, and we get the lead up. You said you already knew it was gonna stop before the actual death.
Yeah, because we got 3 episodes left, so I knew that it's gonna like dice it up before the finale.
Yeah, that's fair, but it's like a little disappointing.
It is disappointing. Yes.
What are your first thoughts about this episode?
Luke is trash. That's one of my first thoughts. Second is that Isa continues to persistently be a really good friend for no reason to Megan.
Yeah.
Megan finally opened her pretty little brown eyes, like saved the last dance, and was like, "Oh, I see that Luke is not who I thought he was."
Yeah, and she sees Isabella being her Kerry Washington.
Yes,
trying to help her out, but this time Megan's the one with the baby, not Kerry Washington.
Oh, yes. So we see Megan take the pregnancy test.
Yes, which I knew it had to be at the really last minute, because we haven't seen it since. We don't see though Isabel finding the pregnancy test. Maybe that's
is that supposed to happen? Oh, maybe
yes, because remember it comes out because of Isabella's lawyer.
Yeah, so maybe that's episode 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Or 10, honestly.
And she doesn't say anything. That means they still must be on awkward footing. Because even though we see them make up in this, she doesn't say, "Oh, I knew about your pregnancy." That's interesting.
It is interesting.
I still have no clue how they're going to fall out. Even further. They kind of get back together. Obviously, they're in cahoots to do whatever they're about to do. But they really fall out. And that's wild to me, because not that I would say, I would hope, but if you go commit a crime together, you should stay.
Y'all should stay on good terms, because someone can rat the other person out. But we don't know if they actually are Luke's murderers. Yeah. We don't know that.
We know they did something that looks really fishy, that they just don't want anyone. Because that would suck if you're pranking someone and then all of a sudden that person gets murdered.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna try and say, "Oh, well, no, I'm too. I hold no water." I would immediately be like, "Look, I did a prank, but I did not do this."
That's an interesting question. What would you do if you were in this scenario?
Yeah.
Well, we still don't know what the scenario is. We still don't know what actually. I mean, let's go through this episode.
Yes. Okay, so in the summer, it's the day after that big party. Megan is she's like, "Oh, everything was so awkward," and Isabel is so chill, but she also seems through with it. She's kind of sleepily being like, "Look, girl, you're gonna get another chance."
This dynamic between Isabella and Megan makes no type of sense to me.
Yeah.
It's still wild to me that Isabella is just completely rooting for them to be a couple.
Yeah.
After you just were dating him last week.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. Yeah. It's so funny because how Isabella acts, she kind of acts like she's watching the show.
Yeah, she does. That's a good point. She does act that way.
Yeah, she's like, "You guys are obviously endgame, friends to lovers. I'm not even gonna try to be the other
writers don't know what to do with her. They haven't given her own actual storyline, her own actual motive. The most that we got out of her that feels individual to her character is when
the black boy came in.
Trevor, right?
Yes.
When Trevor comes, that's the most that we get of her having any personality that's outside of what's happening with Megan.
Totally. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so later on, they're going around, they're cleaning up the house, which again, I don't know how Debbie does not know what the fuck happened if they still have to clean up the next day. But whatever. Luke shows up.
We don't see Debbie all episode.
We don't. So Luke shows up and he's like, yeah, oh my god, like I drank too much. But then Isabella, once again, is the puppet master. She's like, oh, you came over to help clean? How great. Come hang out with us.
And then she tells Megan to go
to the cabin
of Luke to lock up because there's going to be a storm or something. Yeah.
Yes. And, you know, the predictable thing happens. They're, like, reminiscing. They're like, oh, my God, this is the first time we hung out alone in a minute. And you're, like, a brand new woman now. That's the
Don't they have this flirting moment? Like, this whole moment is flirting. But she says something like, I always found you. Or, like, I could always get it. Or, like, she says something spicy like that. He gives her this look like...
Yes. Yes, you were like, what was that? Because we were watching the episode together.
Their flirting is so gross. Their flirting is so disgusting.
It is. Especially in this timeline, because they're dressed like literal children.
Yeah, they are. Like, they are.
The costumers could not hit you more over the head of, like, their childhood best friends. She got overalls, the ponytail's back, even though everyone complimented her on her hair being down because it was so different. And then Luke, his scrawny butt is in the biggest oversized shirt ever.
He is. He definitely is.
And it's like, they look so young. And this is like, it's giving like 7. Like instead of 17.
It is.
So in the end, but before they end up at the dock holding hand and kissing, Luke makes a wrong turn, ends up on Ned's property.
Yes, he
Ned's
does.
weirdo self is like, I don't like trespassers on my property. And Luke is like, I literally just accidentally made a turn.
Yeah. And which is valid. Like, and they're children.
Yeah. Ned is just like, here, I can fix your walkie-talkie, I have feedback. And he keeps it moving. So that's like the first interaction we see between Ned and Luke. And it's okay for what Ned brings to the table. Yeah. That's basically the summer. In December, though, so much goes down. All right.
Oh, I like that you color coordinated your notes.
I stay doing that. So in the winter, Megan asks Isabella, like, how was the plunge? Isabella's just like, oh, it was cold, wouldn't do it again. You know, my resolution is that I'm gonna start fresh, which is like
everyone's resolution, like, but nothing new.
I'm not gonna be a slob anymore. And then Megan's sneaky ass.
Megan had the clap back. She was like, oh, but you like it messy.
Yeah, and Isabella's just sitting there like, girl, you okay? Yeah. But like, there's not much more going on.
That was a good clap back, but it wasn't that good because it didn't land to Megan.
It wasn't a clap back because Isabella's not clapping at her. She's fighting with herself and the voices in her head.
She is. You're right.
Luke
You're right.
put there. Weirdo behavior. It's just like, okay. Yeah.
She clapped.
Yeah,
she clapped. Yeah, she clapped. But it wasn't heard because Isabella doesn't even know what she's clapping for.
Yeah. So then that's when Megan, she ends up going to shop with Luke, right?
For like New Year's Eve party stuff.
For New Year's Eve party stuff. And she got the crown and everything. Luke's still inside. And all of a sudden, Ned sees her. And, like, you would have thought she was wearing a crown that says, I hate Ned's mama. Kill her. Because then he was like, you think this is a game?
Yeah.
What is this?
Because Ned is really about that cybersecurity life, but also, like, and hacking life, but also at the turn of the millennium.
Yes.
We were anxious about what was going to happen once the time changed. Nothing happened at all, and it's ridiculous to think that something would change just because we're entering a new millennium, which is really just a new year. But also at the party store that Luke and Megan are at, Luke is going hard at the lies about Isabella.
Yeah, Megan starts questioning because she's starting to get some common sense. She was like, what was Isabella supposed to be trying to get at by kissing you? And he's like, well, she'd be jealous. And she's like, but she never comes with that energy. She wanted us together.
Right.
And he's like, well, she hates when we're alone together and
without
stuff.
her.
And she just knows that ain't true.
She knows it's not true.
She was just like...
It's a classic case of, like, men trying to get in between women.
Yeah.
And, like, thinking that they're mind control, or like as my mom would say, their psychology would work on us.
Yeah.
Because the math is not mathin', but also like it's just dumb.
It is. It's
like
so dumb.
Isabella has always been team Meg and Luke, even though it never made sense for her to be that passionate about this, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So, but Luke probably doesn't know that.
No.
So he just thought he can continue. But also it's like later on when he's bragging to his friends about having the both of them, and he's just like, oh, like I could, sorry if I'm jumping the gun too much.
No.
But like and he's just like, oh, like I got them both wrapped around my finger. Like we're insinuating that they may have a threesome.
He said he was lining it up.
How are you lining it up if you're trying to get these two girls to dislike each other? Like how, like that makes no type of sense. That's like the worst formula for a threesome.
Yeah.
Like having people get in bed who don't fuck with each other.
Exactly. Yeah. He's flat out lying just to get these boys' approval, which we don't even know these boys. For real.
We'd never seen
in the background the whole time, so they did not like do a good lead up to being like, oh, these guys like respect is very important to Luke or whatever.
Right.
So it's like, wow, you're doing the most over boys that we don't care about. So, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So when Ned approaches, he basically yokes her up. Like, he's doing way too much.
He does.
And so Luke does rightfully say, hey, I don't know what you guys are working on together, but none of this now. And then Ned was like, you can get it too.
Which Ned is a grown ass, like, full adult over here, like, pressing up on these teenagers. It's really ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous because, again, like, Luke is so small.
Luke is so... He's like... He's like floating in that outfit.
Yes. He's not like a buck, young buck that has like all these muscles and doing all this stuff. So it's like, you really don't have to do all of this. But yeah, he starts putting his hands on Luke, and then they take space. Ned's still going at it, being like, you're going to turn into your father, this and that. And then Luke pushes him. So
somehow
this becomes the talking point, even though homeboy was the one who started the whole physical altercation. Yeah. So Luke goes to his daddy's office because daddy called and daddy's mad.
Yeah.
Because daddy's getting a lot of calls and Ned apparently is already litigious. That cabin and his property are right next to each other. So he's already litigious and fighting me on his property line.
That's a good word.
So he's like, so you're getting me in trouble with this wackadoo. And then Luke tries to explain, and Steve is basically like, nah, you're causing problems for this family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, F this family.
Yeah, fuck this family. Fuck this family. Their generational trauma. No, generational curse that they are reenacting over and over again through these sons. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, even when Luke explains that he was defending Meg, he was like, good idea, but bad execution. Please give us some examples then of what have been a great execution, Steve.
Yeah.
I would love to hear it.
I mean, Steve probably would have done the same thing. No, Steve would have paid. Steve would have given.
Yeah, that's all he does.
That's all Steve does. He shoves money at a problem.
Yeah, Steve is weak. So Luke leaves kind of with his head down, but his older brother Brent is there.
Brent.
Brent's like, I'm used to being the bad one or like the one talked down on. He's like, just lay your head low, little brother. Like, let this all blow over. And Luke is so determined to party all of a sudden.
Yeah, he really wants to I mean, the world's about to end. Isn't that in the title
He
too?
doesn't believe that though.
Isn't it in the title too?
Yeah.
Like, this is like the last New Year's Eve ever. So, like, everyone's trying to get it in.
So Brent's like, ooh, you got the right idea, of course. And, like, gives him a key to one of the cars.
Yeah.
He's like, just don't get caught. And so...
And he's just like, if you get caught, I'm going to offer you on a platter or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're an older sibling.
Right!
You're an older sibling. Is this the advice you would give?
Siblingship is this? Like, they're so... Oh, my God. I mean, I guess he's not over, like, Luke ratting him out about the tapes. So that's valid. Yeah.
No, I think that is putting more pressure on, though, is like, if you're going to do it right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear about it later.
Yeah.
So, Megan, she's at home. She just took a pregnancy test, and she is shook because it's positive.
Because it's those two red lines, man. I never want to see that in my life. That's terrifying.
So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Oof.
So she finally figured it out. Yeah, and then at the party, Megan and Luke, they're there. Also, Megan earlier says she doesn't even want a party, but Luke keeps pushing it. So she has, like, multiple reasons that she's like, I am not in a celebration.
These kids party a lot.
They do.
I'm still not over the stripper that was at the birthday party.
What?
Still not over that.
Still not over it. And he's like, we gotta go big. Were there strippers there, Luke? Like,
that was good foreshadowing for about Luke being trash, because remember when that moment where Luke is talking to his friends about what happened with the stripper? Mm-hmm. That was good. I'm just not realizing that. Yeah, he's a dog.
Yeah.
Ooh, sleazy. Runs in his bloodline.
Very. So yeah, we actually see that there is a teenager who has a holster and a gun on his waist.
I missed this.
Yeah. I was like, what is going on? And then I tried to look to be like, is he supposed to be a cowboy? But, like, no one else is dressed like in costume. So, I guess this guy was just like, I'm going to be here and ready. And Luke and Megan see that shit, and they're just like, oh my God, I can't believe these people are freaking out about the end of the world. You need to kick that person out.
Yeah, they need to kick him out. That's major safety hazard. Like,
are you... Does anyone have common sense?
No. No, that's why we're in this situation.
So ridiculous. But okay. Now, Meg, she later sees Isabella, and she's like, here, have a drink. She's not drinking, obviously, but she doesn't say why. Isabella, she's just... Megan finally is like, why are you acting like we're cool? And it's like, open your mouth, Megan. And she finally does. And she was like, what happened at the plunge? And Isabella does not come out and say. She was just like, what did Luke say?
Yeah, what did Luke say?
And she says, you what
kissed
Luke
him.
Claimed.
Yeah.
And Isabella's just like, that didn't happen.
Yeah, it was like, he kissed me, and the only reason why I didn't tell you is because I just figured he made a mistake, and I wanted to let it go, which is valid considering Isabella's track record of shipping Megan and Luke so hard. Like, it's valid. But then Megan just... The way that Megan, like, comes for Isabella, but, like, doesn't match that energy with Luke.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I've been in friendships like that.
It's very pick-me.
Yes! It's very, like, whoa. Like, it's so... You're so comfortable with, like, attacking this other femme that's your best friend. But when it comes to this guy that's playing you, you are, like, not... You're so meek about it. Like... That's really sad.
You have to unlearn it. Yeah. It's very disappointing. And Isabella looks disappointed. She's just like, Like, why would I have told you if you obviously weren't gonna believe
Isabella
me?
has been fighting for this friendship for the beginning with no reason to fight for this friendship.
Yeah.
And it's surprising that she still is enduring.
I
She's
don't even know if she's
still
fighting at this point, because like Megan's the one who.
I mean, they're doing whatever they're doing at the end together.
Yeah.
Like, and
Okay.
when Megan apologized about pressing her earlier, Isabella's just like, oh, let it go. Like, let's just forget about it. Like, she's not even trying to like hear out an apology. Like, they're making this character seem so like she deserves an apology for that.
Yeah.
She deserves an apology for everything
Yeah.
that Megan has thrown her way. But instead, they keep setting up Izza to be like, nope, we're gonna get past it. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's not fine.
Which then a little voice, because right now it's like, yeah, Luke doesn't look good in the light. It doesn't hold up, but it does make me think, like, does Isabella in the back of her mind know she gonna be the last one standing somehow? Like, what does she know?
I mean, she could have predicted that this little boy's gonna die. You still think that this is Isabella's doing?
I'm so aware of the writers and what they did in the first season. I'm so aware. And I'm just like, I know, and like, I don't know if like the running theme is teenage girls, like, watch out for them, don't underestimate them.
But that's not the only running theme. The other running theme is beware of toxic masculinity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what they like to do, my theory, is that they like to be like, look over here of like these very obvious villains, but there's something so hinged, because the whole first season is not hinged on like, did that little girl like kidnap the other one to take over her life? No, it was, did she or did she not hear that girl in that house and not say anything?
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be just a small thing that they're going to hit you at the very end to be like, but Isabella, though, she did this.
No, I still think it's Megan.
Megan?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Megan that we're going to have like that moment of like, okay. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Isabella.
Megan does not, this is not a good episode for her either.
It's really not.
Really isn't.
It's really not.
Like,
but like we see Megan has like so many reasons to be desperate, in the same way that the main girl from the first season had so many reasons to be desperate. Like, Megan is now pregnant.
Yes. She's been poor.
She's not doesn't have the money.
Committing crimes.
Yeah, she just lost her scholarship.
Yep.
She has this like, well, the sex tape, they everyone still thinks it's Isabella, but that is still something that's on her.
Yeah.
And now she has this trifling ass boyfriend. Yep. Like, Megan has a lot of reasons to be shady right now. Izza, not really. Mm-hmm. Like, we just know that she has a past with that, with Lisa. Mm-hmm. Trevor knows who she really is. Mm-hmm. And that, you know, she's without her parents right now, and she's living in this town with people who don't like her.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I don't know, that there isn't enough, like, I don't think it would be as big of a payoff at the end if the writers show that it was Isabella all along. Like, we don't have enough of a connection to her. Like, we don't see enough of what's going on in her life for us to believe that this is valid for her to like somehow be a part of this little boy dying. Like, they don't have a strong enough connection. But Megan, though, I think she's somehow a part of this. I really think so.
I see what you're saying, but the writer part of me is like, why even bring an outside interloper then?
As an accomplice. Like, I'm sure she's a part of this in some way, but not as strong as Megan's a part of this. I think if anything, Megan would be fine with letting Isabella take the fall. Like, I think it might be a situation of like Isabella goes to jail and it was Megan all along. Like, I feel like it's gonna be something like that.
But she's too in it. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't want that to be the case.
Megan has look at all those things I listed about
I
Megan's
did.
inspirations. I feel like
I do.
and look at Megan's track record with Izza. She will drop her easily if it meant that she can go to this college she wants to go to.
Yeah.
She can. She's you know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
she I think she would do it.
Do you think Isabella would willingly do it? Is that what they're setting up?
I mean, that's probably what they're setting up.
Nah.
But I mean, I don't think that's really sad because they've really been making Isabella out to be a very selfless person towards this other person that hasn't earned this selflessness.
Yeah, for sure.
It might be a situation where like Megan is trying to get Izza to take the fall. Isabella's like, hell no, like this is where I draw the line.
Mm-hmm.
And then Megan somehow still sets it up for Isabella to get framed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it might be something like that, where it's still against Isabella's will, but it might happen.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we'll think about that.
And we know that the queer girl like went to the officer the last episode and was like, this is what I heard. Okay.
Yeah, because
so yeah, we know that seed is already planted with the police. So like, and who does the police believe? If it's between a black girl and a white girl, they're gonna believe the white girl.
Right. True.
Yeah.
After Isabella denies all of this, basically, Megan's left with her thoughts. Mm-hmm. And she goes out and she sees Luke talking to boys. He does brag. We talked about that. And, you know, she was like, all right, let's get some payback. They have their New Year's Eve kiss. He has the audacity to ask, where's Isabella? And she was like, oh, she bounced, which corroborates with somebody's story. I'm still thinking about the interrogation talks, and someone said, yes, Isabella left earlier. Meg and Luke were cool, and then they leave together. And she was like, yeah, let's go to the cabin to celebrate. And he's so excited. We have no clue what the plan is going next. And the next 2000, you know, Meg, all of her, everything she has planted, all of those seeds, it's coming up. And it's coming up as dry, dead crops.
Yeah.
So when her lawyer comes over, he's like, we gotta go to the police station. You're being charged. We think at first. Did you think it was gonna be about Luke's death?
No.
Okay.
I think all that's gonna happen at the very end.
Okay. It is for fraud. Mm-hmm. She had the audacity to copy that seal off of a government.
Yep.
You don't want to impersonate the government. You never want to do your fraud in mail. Just don't do it. And apparently she's getting a nice little deal because she's getting a misdemeanor instead of a felony.
Yeah, because she was 17 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Megan.
And then the principal calls and is just like, you know, we're taking away your scholarship. Like I have to call the university. Yeah. Which is like not that bad. Like it's pretty bad, but like that's not the only college in the world. Like I'm sure that is going to go on her record though. So like it is gonna make applying to schools challenging, but like she can still go to college.
Absolutely.
People look into her further and find out that she's also been like changing around her grades and shit. You know what I'm saying? Then remember?
Yeah, like
if people actually looked deeper and realized like, oh, she's been hacking across the board. Okay, that would be bad. But like this is a pretty terrible crime, but it's so far it's just this one school.
As a screenwriter, I get it. Like, you need your character to have a want.
Of course. Yeah.
And really want it. And that's such an easy, simple thing, especially for teenagers that age. They want to go to college. They want to go to a specific college? Okay, why does it have to be that one?
I mean, I think they could have raised the stakes, though.
Yeah.
Like, because for me as a viewer, it's just like, oh, you can't get into this one college? all right, like whatever. But like if they raise a stake where it's just like, yeah, this is gonna be on your permanent record, like this is gonna be hard for you to get into any school, that would have been a lot scarier to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
but it
will
is important. It probably will be. And also like I do sympathize heavily with the fact that like she had a full ride scholarship to this school. That is a big deal.
It is a
like
big deal.
That is a huge deal.
But
so
also
like,
it probably wasn't earned again.
Yeah, it wasn't earned.
She turned all those grades around.
Like, I mean, but also it's just like, yeah, like she really thought she was gonna get away with doing something like this, like,
and everything like that, and like her ego was just like, oh, I linked up with this guy who's so great in tech and everything. Like, I'm gonna skip so many steps to get there. She doesn't want to do the work, and like, yeah, it was just ego. So basically, after all of this, she goes to a store in a terrible outfit, may I add, and she sees Jeff. It's just like, oh, it was so bad. Jeff was there, and she's like, oh, you getting ready for your dorm? He was like, yeah. And she brings up that she got charged. And Jeff should, Jeff should have just been like, I'm so sorry. Sucks.
He should have just kept it pushing. He should be like, damn, like, my bad. I'm sorry to hear that. I know that meant a lot to you. Yeah. Like, his black ass don't owe her nothing.
No. Instead, he has the puppy dog face going, and he was just like, look, I got caught buying, like, alcohol with it, and it was either I get in trouble or I tell them.
Which is valid! Yeah. Like, we see what the police does to black people for anything, just existing. So, like, it's valid that he was just like, yeah, like...
And he wasn't capable of stealing that seal.
Exactly. Like he was not about to sit here and lie and be like, oh yeah, I did that too. Like he confessed to what his part was, and then was just like,
his wasn't a felony.
His wasn't. Yeah, and then I mean, Megan is a classic case of like a young white girl getting mad at everyone but herself. Yes. Like not taking any kind of ownership for like the roles that she played in her own life choices.
She was on her own hacking her grades. She was on her own talking to Ned when she had no business to. Like no one was supporting her with that. Like, if anything, Isabel was just being like, red flag, and Meg was like, I don't see it. I don't see it. You're a hater. You want my man.
That's exactly what she said. Yeah.
So it's so wild. Brent, he's giving out advice this episode, and he tells Meg, hey, like, my dad is suspicious of Ned because apparently he assaulted his last employer, stole a bunch of property. Like, he's a bad dude. Like, stay away. Meg, her thoughts are like, I must run to Ned immediately. Immediately. And she's just like, hey, so,
wildest ask ever. She's like, can you like hack into like the police force?
She said like, double down on the crime.
She's like, hack into the police force and delete this from my records or some shit like that.
What did she think was going to happen? That the person who charged you was going to forget? Oh, and Ned, of course, was like, no. Right. No, there's going to be a paper trail.
Ned's paranoid ass, rightfully paranoid ass. It's just like, hell no.
You're trying to bring me in?
Right. Like, take the L. Take the L.
And he
like,
says that shit.
This is your fault.
Then all of a sudden she just too brave and dumb. That's two things that should not go together.
That's a bad combination,
brave and dumb person. Because she was like, oh, is it true that you, like, stole from your last employer and, like, assaulted him? And he goes off, because of course he does. He's like, you can't steal something that was yours, so you stole it. So then he walks back to the room. Meg follows. I would have been out right then. But she follows him. He's like, oh, if Steve's gonna look into me, then I'm gonna look into him. And she notices which she should have known.
The surveillance cameras.
All these cameras. And
Yeah.
she's like, did you always have that one pointed at the road? Yes.
Yeah.
Meg's probably going to be caught on some camera.
Yeah.
Going to that
I think
cabin
she is. Yeah.
that night. So, but yeah, they see Steve. He's rolling up. Megan's like, oh, I'm going to sneak out the back. Wasn't slick. Brent saw her immediately. Steve comes out and he's like, you have been like influencing Megan, and I know you have something to do with Luke. Ned comes with a whole shotgun.
A whole, like the size of his body.
Yeah.
Literally.
About to blow someone away if they make one wrong move. He's like, you better take your little beanie baby
And
boy.
also, can you even use a shotgun from that close in range? Like,
you can. It will blow you away. You won't. Your parts will be everywhere.
I thought you'd be able to blow him away too. Like the impact will like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding?
No, Steve has lost any type of chill that he might have had since Luke is now.
You're gonna lose chill.
Yeah, you're gonna lose chill when you lose a child.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
They already don't like each other.
Yeah.
It's wild out here.
It's wild.
Yeah. They end up leaving. Basically,
Steve is like, "You're not about to do nothing."
Yeah, he does say
walks
that.
Away.
He does say that. It's like, do you know that?
Right.
Do you really want to test that out?
Who is that calm with a gun in front of them? Like that's.
He doesn't care anymore. I think he really does feel like everything's taken from him.
Yeah,
I don't think
does.
He cares.
You're right.
Yeah. Now we end with Meg getting a message. That the scholarship was rescinded, which we already talked about. So this was a wild episode. I like your theory. I do like your theory, but I don't have the faith. I think it's very much I'm aware of the writers.
They can't pin this on the black girl. It's not going to be compelling enough.
You can't,
because that's what happened last. That's what happened last season. They tried to pin it on the gay girl.
Yeah,
and then you find out, nope, it really was the dark-haired girl. It really was her.
Okay.
Like, so I feel like it's going to be some kind of twist like that, where it's going to twist back to Megan.
Okay. I like it.
Maybe.
I like it. I think I just need to protect myself and believe it's going to be Isabella, so I don't be shocked. I think
Isabella's safe. I think she is safe.
I love that for you.
I think she's safe. Yeah.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Oh, that was a good episode for sure. The next one I think is going to be a Luke one. We're going to probably see his like last day from his perspective.
Probably. Not looking forward to this, but
yeah,
it's necessary.
Yo, you know one thing that I'm still kind of tired of? We keep saying that Debbie gets sick. We don't know with what.
We haven't heard about that again.
And she wasn't in this whole episode.
She wasn't in this whole episode. Before we go, commenters, please let us know, when was the first time you heard the joke, "That's what she said"? For me, it was The Office, but apparently it was around longer than that, and I didn't even realize it.
Yes,
but
I think Luke does a...
Luke says it. No, Megan says it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Megan says it.
When they're in the woods, her joking, and she makes a "that's what she said" joke, and you immediately was like, that didn't happen then. I was like, it absolutely did.
Which I didn't realize this, but let me know, when was the first time you heard "That's what she said"?
Your BB moment of the episode, beautiful black moment.
Beautiful black moment is that Jeff is going away to college.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, but Isabella didn't get one.
I think Isabella finally being told she was right is like,
it's
a little crumb
but
of one.
It's still, it's a crumb. It's a crumb.
It's certainly a crumb.
She definitely needed a better apology, but yeah, it's a crumb.
I definitely have a chaotic bisexual moment. Do you know what it is?
The blonde girl?
Yeah. So when they're in the New Year's Eve party, I was really watching like what was going on in the background. Watch the blonde girl. Because at first I was like, oh, Parker is a little, and she probably is. But the blonde girl, there was another girl that we have never seen. She is like dancing up on the other girl. And I'm like, oh, it's that one. like maybe Parker knows she's queer and she did the whole
Yeah.
like straight girl thing
Yeah,
of like I'm gonna kiss the
I
queer
think
girl
Parker's
for like
queer too.
maybe. But I was like,
Yeah.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were our two little moments there.
Yes.
Yes. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I'm so happy Alisha's here in person.
Me
We got to
too.
do
Me
this.
too.
They're usually in New York.
Yes. 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 What?
So-
Damn, you put my whole business out there.
Just New York. New York. That's like a state.
I know. Well, thank you for watching or listening to another episode of Black Bi Reality.
Yeah.
Have a beautiful Black and Bi week.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone can have a Black or Bi week, but
truth. If you love, just share the love to Black and Bi people. And yeah, so definitely, if you haven't checked out our other recaps, go back and watch. Also, I have an exclusive YouTube show where we're doing TV to table, and we cook recipes from different TV shows. I do with my partner, Jordan. The one that we did for Cruel Summer was shushuka, because Isabel mentions it when she's cooking with Debbie. And then we have our second episode, poached eggs and toast points, because of Carrie on And Just Like That. So the third episode, I promise, is not going to be eggs. We're already talking about it, but it is going to be the bear inspired.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So, yeah.
Wrinkle so easily.
Catch us on that and have a good one.
Have a good one.